This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weight. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
What up? Happy Thursday. The Jason Walker Show inside the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. If you need anything done around the house, inside and out, you get a hold of Above All Handyman Services. They will take care of you. In fact, you can get a $250, 10% off a $250 paint project by mentioning the Jason Walker Show. Coming up today, we're talking softball with Capital coach Mike Miller after the big win for the Bruins last night in a remake of a game against Hellgate. And we're also going to talk Kentucky Derby, which is coming up on Saturday. On NBC, we'll talk with the great Barry Abrams, horse racing expert. He'll break it down. Where do Bob Baffert horses fit in this year? Because we know Bob Baffert won't be at the Kentucky Derby, but we'll find out from Barry where are the Baffert horses, and he'll give you his win-place show for entertainment purposes only. You can watch the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, although I think there's some issues with the Facebook, with the meta, whatever. You can also listen on Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com, and more. Go to JasonWalkerShow.com. Got On This Day in History coming up. Get you set for the weekend as well. And the opening segment, as always, brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry with 3 distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. Great versatility. Especially with the milled log. You also have handcrafted and timber frame. Get a hold of Montana Custom Log Homes today at yourcustomlog.com. We've got a couple of front runners this week for your Auto Contest Performance of the Week for next week. And one of them is happened yesterday over in Missoula, or in... as Missoula, Nolan McCaffrey and Avon Nurse combined to throw a no-hitter in a 10-1 win over the Senators of Helena in a 5-inning game. They're both seniors at Sentinel. They're both right-handed. McCaffrey struck out 5, walked 1, and Nurse had a walk in his 1 inning. Now, earlier in the day, just hours before, McCaffrey had signed to play college baseball at Jamestown, and Nurse has signed with Knox College in Illinois. And then they go out and put up a 10 spot offensively to support those two on the mound. And really got to Tyler Cutler in 3 2/3 innings. Mavs 7 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks against Cutler. They had 3 runs on 3 hits in a third of an inning against Luke Doughty. Peyton Stevens leading the way, but the combined no-hitter is always impressive. The Mets had one last week, so I'm just saying. So that is those two guys early for nominees for your Auto Contest Performance of the Week next week. And we didn't bring this up this week. We had a lot of other stuff, but kind of forgot about it. Skyview's Piper Chartier had a perfect game in a win against Bozeman Monday, 18-0. Skyview had 19 hits. It went just 4 innings, but she had a perfect game. Struck out 5. And also had 3 hits. But she faced 12 batters. 32 of her 45 pitches were strikes, which is pretty darn cool. Speaking of softball, Dawson Community College defeated Mondac rival Miles 7-3 on Wednesday to claim the NJCAA West Subregion 13 softball title, and now will host the Region 13 championship tournament beginning Sunday. Dawson, the 1 seed from the West, will play Dakota County Tech out of Minnesota. And Miles, the 2 seed from the West, will play Bay College, Michigan, the top seed from the East on Sunday. Dawson 29-8 overall, Miles 22-14. The winner will host the district championship in a couple of weeks. The Region 13 winner. So lots of great softball going on and baseball as well. So let's give our kudos to those. And let's see here. What is going on? Rocky men, Bill Drykosen signing a couple of players. Finn Tesoro, Mikey Odell from Three Forks will join Rocky after winning a state title, beating Harlem last month, or 2 months ago, I guess now, and the first since 2001 for the Three Forks Wolves. So lots of great stuff there. And, yeah, that no-hitter yesterday, pretty darn impressive for the Mavs. And I don't care if it was combined. I really don't. No-hitter is a no-hitter, and that's pretty darn cool. There was no hitter last night. Capital getting a big win over Hellgate, 16-0 in a makeup game, and a couple of big games coming up this week for the Bruins with Flathead and Glacier. We'll talk with Mike Miller coming up. We're also going to talk Kentucky Derby a little bit later on. Barry Abrams. You can follow him at B. Abrams Voice on the Twitter, but he is a great horse racing expert. And we had I'd forgotten the Derby was this weekend. And, Medina Spirit, we know what happened last year, and Medina Spirit passed away a few months ago. But the drug test, the positivity on the drug test, and Bob Baffert suspended. We'll get the update from Barry Abrams. Are Baffert horses in the Derby, and where will they finish? We'll find out in a little bit. Of course, you got the Kentucky Derby coming up. And look, it's the greatest 2 minutes in sports. They say that about the Derby. Secretariat still with all the records in Triple Crown races. The greatest athlete, I think, of all time. Animal or human. But the Derby this week, and, it's still going to be fun. And looking forward to following it. This weekend on Saturday it'll be on Peacock, NBC, it'll be online. So good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Can you bet on horse racing in Montana? I don't think we can. Can we? I'm looking at Montana Sports Bet, and I don't know if we can. What a bummer. Montana Sports Bet, we need to get them on the show advertising, but they got to get better odds. We were talking about it last night after league golf. So, but yeah, I don't think we can bet on horse racing in Montana, which is a bummer because it's huge. I mean, growing up, all you ever heard about was the horse racing in Helena. Great Falls, Billings, of course, was huge. They brought it back in Great Falls a few years ago. Do you bet on the horses? I'd like to, but we'll have to figure out if we can. You got the Kentucky Derby, the 148th running of the Run for the Roses on Saturday. Coverage, I think, starts at 12:30 and runs to 5:30 Mountain Time. And, of course, you got the Kentucky Oaks tomorrow, which is always fun to watch. But first run in 1875, 10 furlongs. All right. There you go. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Mike Miller will join us. We'll talk softball for Capital. How big was last night's win, and how good are the girls in the circle right now for the Bruins? Well, they're pretty good. We'll answer that question immediately. But what to look forward to this weekend with the Bruins taking on Flathead and Glacier? We'll find out when Mike Miller joins us next. Opening segment of the Jason Walker Show, brought to you as always by Montana Custom Log Homes. Build the log home of your dreams. 50-plus years experience, the finest craftsmen available in Montana. You can check them out at yourcustomlog.com. Montana Custom Log Homes. The great Mike Miller, softball coach, Capital, next on the Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com. Father's Day is coming fast, and what more would that great dad in your life want than a full detail from Auto Concepts? Or maybe he would just prefer a lift kit. It's also camping season, and now is the perfect time to outfit that rig with a winch just in case. Auto Concepts is your home for everything for your vehicle, including updating your car stereo system too. Auto Concepts also has gift certificates for dad or yourself. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients, along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Yes, it is. Nobody else's name is on this show. This segment of the show, welcome back, by the way, brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. We're going to talk to Barry Abrams, Kentucky Derby breakdown coming up. Mike Miller is going to join us in a couple of minutes, the Capital softball coach, on this day in history. Much more on the way. It was a big day for Secretariat on this date. We'll talk about that as well a little bit later on. The walk-off. Let's see. So, a little bit of a complaint here against United Airlines. So, my daughter and I, my wife's got a 2-week training class down in Colorado coming up in July. And so the little one and I were looking at possibly flying down out of Butte and hanging out for a weekend, the end of July. Well, then we got notice yesterday, as did everybody else, that Butte Airport's canceling its direct flight to Denver starting June 30th, or after June 30th, because of a lack of pilots, shortage of pilots, which is a bummer. So we called today to either switch our flight, well, mainly switch our flight, And the guy tells me, he's like, hey, you can, but you don't have to pay a change fee, but you have to pay the difference in price. Like, you guys canceled the flight. Like, that's not on me. I'm not trying to change dates or times or anything. Like, you canceled it. And I was like, yeah, well, we'll see. So called back to cancel the flight completely, and he goes, and get a refund. And the guy's like, you can't do that. You can get credit. I'm like, but you canceled the flight. Am I in the wrong? You can weigh in at Jay Walker Sports. Am I in the wrong because I think we should get a full refund because United's the one that canceled the flight, not us? I'd love to go to Denver for a weekend. I love Denver. Although the Rockies are out of town, so no baseball. But, I mean, there's great things to do with the little one down in Denver. I mean, you've got the water parks, you've got the museums, the zoos. Great stuff. Denver's a fantastic town. But United's the one that canceled it. I didn't cancel it. Why can't I get a full refund? So, we'll see. But yeah, if you're trying to fly direct out of Butte to Denver starting in July, you can't because United has canceled flights. So, there you go. All right, speaking of not canceled, is last night. Had good weather to make up for a postponed game from weather, but Capital took on Hellgate and just absolutely smoked the Knights, 16-zip. Joining us now to talk about that game, look ahead to this weekend, and the hot starts that the Bruins are off to is Capital softball coach Mike Miller joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline.
All right, Coach, a nice victory yesterday in a makeup game over Hellgate and taking advantage of other teams' errors. And that seems like something Capital has always done since I've covered you guys, but a great win last night. Take me through it.
Yeah, it was a good win. You know, our girls stayed focused, and we had some things that we wanted to work on in that game, and I think we were pretty successful with doing that.
And like I said, taking advantage of other teams' mistakes and wild pitches, pass balls seemed to be the story of the game last night.
Yeah, it was. Hellgate's a little inexperienced and young. They're certainly getting much better. They walked a few girls and made a couple of errors, not much, but the ball got away from them a little bit. But, that's softball, and we've got to be able to take care of it, and we've got to make sure we take advantage of it, and I thought we did.
Amanda Nettleton got the start in the circle last night. Brilliant game pitching the shutout along with Catherine Emmert, who pitched a couple of outs, but Amanda looked real sharp, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. She's gotten better and better as the years gone on. Had a couple of good outings now. You know, she just mixes speed so much better than in the past, and spotting the ball better. So she was very effective. A very good outing for her, for sure.
Talking with Capital coach softball Mike Miller here, Jason Walker Show. When you look at Amanda, what was so good about the way she was last night? And I think I read only 4 balls were actually put into play last night with the 10 Ks.
Well, again, it was she was mixing speeds, and we've preached that for a long time, and she's really bought into it recently, and she has a very good changeup, and then when she's spotting the ball besides that, she's very effective.
And obviously the offense has to score some runs, and you guys did that last night with 16. But you're scoring runs in bunches this season so far, which is always a good thing, right?
Yeah, scoring's good. You can't win without getting something. But we've had a little bit of ups and downs, a little bit of inconsistencies. But I think we're making steady progress, and we know kind of the things we need to work on. And scoring runs has been something that we focus on. Our defense and pitching has been excellent.
We've talked about Nay. We've talked about your girls in the circle, but offensively, one girl we haven't talked about this year, Belle Glocke. Take me through her season so far. She had a nice night.
Well, yeah, she is. She's recently she's been playing second base for us a lot. She's also only a sophomore, and, she's working hard at the little things we need her to do. She hasn't had a lot of experience at second. She's pitched and played a lot of shortstop for our JVs, but obviously we have Anna over there. So future is she's bought in to making herself a better second baseman, a lot more of a reaction spot and an understanding and decision-making spot. So it takes a while. It's not just fielding grounders. You've got a lot of different things that you might have to do at any given time from second.
Everybody always talks about shortstop, but second's just as important.
Oh, for sure it is. Especially, we have Nyla Herndon pitching, and she's one of the hardest throwers in the state, if not the hardest thrower. And a lot of balls get hit to the right side. People have a hard time catching up to her, so we've got to be solid on that side for sure.
You're sitting there 8-0 in conference play. How important is that as you head into the back half?
Oh, it's very important. It's better than any of the other options for sure. I think our focus is to make sure that our girls don't, hey, we went through the first half undefeated, and so now we just kind of got to show up. We've got to continue to get better. There's some very good teams in our conference that we had good games with, but came out on top. And there's some teams on the other side of the state that are very good that are going to be in the way of where we want to be. So we have to continue to improve.
I know you never like to lose, but after winning 7 straight, did that loss last week on Saturday help kind of focus the team again?
Yeah, I guess that would be a question for them. But what I was pleased about is obviously that was 2 teams that we got beat by the first weekend of the season. To come back and win against Senior, their first loss of the year is good. And actually, I'll tell you, the West game, although I thought that we had some things that we could have been better at, it was a pretty good game, and it was actually closer than the score. Amanda pitched that game as well, and Hellgate's probably, you could certainly make the argument that they're the best hitting. West is the best hitting team in the state. She kept them off stride, too. They got some runs and they got some hits, but certainly much less balls that were hit like rockets like they were the first time we played them.
Capital softball coach Mike Miller joining us here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. When you look at this weekend, big games at home starting tomorrow, you've got Flathead, you've got Glacier. What do you expect differently out of those two than what you saw the first round?
Well, Flathead is a lot like Hellgate. They're a young team, certainly continuing to improve. I know that they've gotten a couple of wins, so they're coming around a little bit. We're going to do our best not to let our girls look past them. Glacier has always been a tough matchup for us. They're a very good team that had some struggles early, but I think they've kind of righted the ship. They've got a very good pitcher. So I think that it's going to be a very tough game, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
And of course, just a few weeks here before you head into postseason play. But these are big games, and what's the message to the girls tonight in practice going to be?
Well, it's a busy week. Playing last night, Vigilante Parade tomorrow, 2 games. There's a lot going on, so we're trying to get them to at least take some time during softball time and focus on the things that we need to do to get better, take care of ourselves, not worry so much about the other teams or how we did with them in the past or how we did with them earlier in this year. But we're trying to get so we can continue to have the best version of us out on the field and make somebody else deal with that.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. I know you're heading off to practice, but good luck this weekend, and we'll catch up next week.
That'll be great. Thank you. Have a good day.
Mike Miller joining us, Capital softball coach on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle. It's your home, it's your auto, it's your life. Mike understands that. Get a hold of Mike Miller State Farm in Helena today. The other Mike Miller. Big games, big softball games. We're hitting the second half of the season, which means there's like 3 weeks left before postseason play. I actually get to go to Missoula and call the AA championship game May 28th, I believe it is, for NFHS. So looking forward to that. And as of right now, there's a really good chance that it could be a Senior, it could be West against the Capital, possibly, depending on how things all shake out here in the next few weeks. And of course, with the divisionals, and then of course the first couple rounds of state. But man, there's a few really, really good AA softball teams right now, and Capital's definitely put itself right up in that mix for sure, with that 8-0 conference mark, 10-3 overall on the season. So appreciate Coach Miller joining us here today. By the way, get on the schedule now for Nitro Green. For all of your lawn, tree, and pest needs, they'll take care of everything. You know, if you have a mice issue, done. If you have a dead tree, they'll remove it. If you have some tree issues, you need to trim, they'll take care of it. Spraying for hornets, which is big, insects, they've done. The lawn care is second to none. Nitro Green, get on your schedule now. Highly, highly recommend it. Let's see, what else? It's been one of those just crazy weeks. Lots of great high school sports. You've got coaches leaving in college for other jobs now. It's that time of the year. And speaking of that time of the year, coming up in the walk-off, golfer Lydia Ko had a comment from her last weekend, and it's true to life if you're a lady. So we'll hear from Lydia Ko, the great LPGA golfer, coming up in the walk-off for sure. Oh, man. Got track this weekend. You've got softball this weekend, some great golf. Jefferson High Golf, I talked about them yesterday, but how good are they right now? Holy cow. On that boys and girls side, Celie Chapman's a stud after she transferred from Helena High. And basically gets 5 years of golf in 4 years of high school because she transferred after the AA golf season. And Anna DeMars has a great program going on over there for Jefferson High Golf. And I know Jefferson, we've talked a lot about Jefferson the last couple of weeks with the Clint Lang debacle, the not hiring back, then the rehiring back, and then everything that happened Monday night at the board meeting. But lots of good things going on for Jefferson High right now, for sure. So, had a golf league last night and golfed with a guy who used to be an official and for high schools and colleges, and we were talking about the shortage from officials and school boards and coaches and things like that. And I was like, man, we've got to figure this out. There's such a shortage for high school officials in the state of Montana right now and across the country. But man, nobody wants to get that abuse, and parents are the issue. High school, college, doesn't matter. Parents are the issue. It's not coaches, although a couple of coaches have their issues. But parents, man, just stay out of the way. Shut up. I mean, seriously. You can't. There was a comment made Monday night at the sports meeting at Jefferson, the school board meeting. And you can't live your life through your kid in high school anymore. Like, let your kid be your kid. Fail, pass, succeed, whatever it is. Let your kid just live their life on the field of play or on the courts. Or grades. You know, obviously you want to see them graduate. You want to see your kid succeed. But it's not the official's fault. Okay? It's not the coach's fault. If your kid doesn't succeed, a lot of it's on them, but a lot of it's on you. And you harping on officials and getting kicked out of games it does nobody any good. So parents need to take a back seat and just shut up. Let the coaches do their job. If you think you can do better than the coach or the official, then you go do it. Sign up for the coaches or for the officiating pool. We're going to talk to Big Fork's Jim Benn next week about a lot of the issues going on across the state with school boards and parents. He's more than happy to go on the record about things. And, I mean, he's a great coach, great family guy. So Jim Benn's going to join us on Tuesday next week to try to, come up with some solutions. And that's what we talked about last night at golf with this gentleman was, look, we wish we had solutions 20 years ago. But parents just keep getting worse. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about the Kentucky Derby. It is coming up on Saturday in Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky, just outside of Louisville. It's supposed to rain. How much will that factor some of the favorites? The great Barry Abrams will join us next to talk about the Derby, the favorites, the long shots who have a chance, or maybe not. When we come back, this segment of the Jason Walker Show brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture. 1010 Dearborn, Helena. Barry Abrams coming up next. Hang on.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Father's Day is coming fast, and what more would that great dad in your life want than a full detail from Auto Concepts? Or maybe he would just prefer a lift kit. It's also camping season, and now is the perfect time to outfit that rig with a winch just in case. Auto Concepts is your home for everything for your vehicle, including updating your car stereo system too. Auto Concepts also has gift certificates for dad or yourself. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Final segment of the week in the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. It's been a fun week. Next week will be fun as well. Saturday is going to be a blast. Post time somewhere around 4 o'clock, 4:17-ish, 4:20-ish for the Kentucky Derby. And joining us now on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline to break it all down is the great Barry Abrams of ESPN, and he joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show. Well, Mr. Abrams, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. It's funny because we only really talk about 3 or 4 times a year, and I had completely spaced out. There's a big horse race coming up this week. And thank you for reaching out so we can talk the Kentucky Derby. How are you, and how's the last few months been?
It just kind of sneaks up on you, doesn't it? No, I mean, things are thankfully starting to return to normal. I mean, the Kentucky Derby was run last year in May after being in September the year before that. But, you know, thankfully the rest of the sports calendar is starting to look normal. NHL and NBA playoffs are going on about when they should, and there are fans in the stands. And so things are starting to get back to normal. And I think that's a bigger deal with horses than humans, because horses develop physically and mentally from being teenagers at this time of the year to being full-grown men and women by September. So to have the Kentucky Derby run in September of 2020 was, and we all know why, and we don't have to explain why, but it's just much better to get back to this normal schedule. It's critical, really, for the development of these horses that these things happen now. So I'm glad we're back to normal.
Yeah, there's no question about that. One thing that's not normal, I have to bring it up. I don't really like to talk about it, but there will be no Bob Baffert this year. We know what happened with Medina Spirit a year ago. We know what happened with everything, and it seems a little controversy-free despite the fact that there's no Bob Baffert this year.
Well, it's not controversy-free because he is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And for those of you who are not familiar with the situation, a week after last year's Kentucky Derby, Medina Spirit, who crossed the wire first, was found to have failed its drug test. And Bob Baffert fought it and continued to fight it. The Kentucky state government took until March of this year to issue a ruling on it, which is flabbergasting to me and not fair to anybody involved that it took that long.
Right.
What they did was suspend Bob Baffert for 90 days. And when a state government suspends you, typically the other states where racing is conducted honor that, even though they didn't issue it. So because it came down in March, to begin basically April 4th and run through July 2nd, basically the months of April, May and June being Triple Crown season, there wasn't enough time for Baffert to appeal it to its conclusion. And so to give his horses a chance to qualify for the Kentucky Derby, they were transferred to different trainers in time to run prep races where they earned points towards the Derby. So he is not fighting that suspension, and we'll get to his horses in a second. There are two other suspensions, though, that he will be fighting, and those were not issued by state governments, but by individual racetracks themselves, one of which is Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby is run. They suspended him for 2 years, this year and next year. And so did New York, where the Belmont Stakes is run at Belmont Park and Saratoga. They suspended him for 2 years. He will continue to fight those, both for the ability to run in next year's Triple Crown and this summer at Saratoga Racecourse in upstate New York, where many of the most lucrative races are run through the year. That's a very prestigious meet, and he has horses certainly good enough to win a lot of those races. So he will continue to fight. Now, will there be a decision in time for Saratoga? Probably not, though I can't say no. But he certainly is hoping that the system can play itself out with a ruling in his favor for next year's Triple Crown. So he actually is facing 3 suspensions. The one from the state government he is honoring right now. The other 2 he will continue to fight. Now, 2 of his horses were good enough to run in this race. So what he did was he transferred them to the barn of one of his former trainers, one of his former assistants, a guy named Tim Yakteen. And he transferred them in time for them to run in the Santa Anita Derby, where, of course, they finished first and second. Of course they did. And so they qualified for the Kentucky Derby, and they are here. And their names are Taiba and Messier. As a New York Islanders fan, I can't stand the name Messier, but he's probably right now the horse I would pick to win the race. So Taiba won the Santa Anita Derby. Messier finished right behind him. Taiba did that in only his 2nd career start. So he has only run twice. Bob Baffert's the king of getting horses that have no experience to win these kinds of races. But A, he's not training that horse right now, even though I'm sure he has a lot of influence over things. And at this point, you're going to be throwing a lot of new things at this horse on Saturday. Big crowd, big field and rain. It is supposed to rain in Louisville on Saturday, and this horse has never seen rain. Most horses in this race have never seen rain. So that's a lot to throw at them. But these horses are here. They're essentially, for all intents and purposes, Bob Baffert horses, and they have to be considered on Saturday.
Well, one is a 12-1, Messier is an 8-1. You've got Mike Smith, you've got John Velasquez on top. I mean, it's not like these are horses that people should be counting out just because Baffert's name isn't next to the trainer position there. They both look really good. And when you've got jockeys such as Smith and Velasquez, you're going to give yourself a good chance to win.
For sure. And they both have pretty good posts. Messier is probably the most experienced horse in this field, as Taiba is the least. Messier's run 6 times, and he's been pretty consistent throughout. That's why I would take him. But he's never run in the rain. That is the one X factor there. There are a couple of other favorites in this race who have victories on a wet track. Most notably Zandon, who is the post-time or the morning line favorite at 3-1. Zandon won his last start in Kentucky in the Bluegrass on a track that had some water on it. It wasn't a deluge, but it wasn't dry either, and he had no problem with that. Epicenter is another favorite here. He prepped in Louisiana. He ran in their series of Kentucky Derby preps, one of which was on a track, again, that took some moisture, not a deluge, but he had no problem with that. The problem he will have is that he goes from the 3-post, and in a huge field, it is very easy to be swallowed up by the field when you go from an inside post. That's not to say he's going to have to use some energy early to establish his position. That energy that he'd like to have at the end, will it be too much? He's a very good horse. I think he'll still be there near the end, and the wet track won't bother him, but the 3-post is something he's going to have to overcome.
Talking with Barry Abrams, the great horse racing expert, and another great trainer, Todd Pletcher. He's got a couple of horses. And Mo Donegal, running from that one spot, has won at the Wood Memorial, which is a huge, huge race. But he did finish 3rd out at Gulfstream. Tell me about Mo Donegal at 10-1.
Well, Gulfstream is a track that favors front runners, horses that go to the lead and stay there and say, try to catch me. Mo Donegal is a stone-cold closer. He comes from the back. And so Gulfstream was not going to be a place where he was going to run well. Now, going from the 1-post, from what we were just talking about, is typically the kiss of death because the field can swallow you up. But Mo Donegal's a closer. He's going to drop back anyway. It's not going to matter where he starts. So the issue for him is going to be he's going to have to pass 19 horses if he's going to win this race, and he's going to be getting mud kicked in his face the entire time because it's going to rain. So not that he can't do it. He's got Gerardo Ortiz, a multiple-time champion jockey, on him. Not that he can't do it, but he's going to have a really good trip. Now, it has happened. 2013, Orb came slicing through the field from way back on a really wet track to win. And it's happened before. Go for Gin did that in 1994. But it doesn't happen often that you can really charge through a field on a wet track to win. So can it happen? Is he good? I mean, he looked brilliant. He went right through the field in the home stretch of the Wood Memorial. Can he do that again here? It's going to be tough.
Talking with Barry Abrams, the great horse racing expert with ESPN. What's your podcast called nowadays?
We have a daily commentary that we do as a form of a poem. Actually, do it every day, every weekday, called The Far Turn. And you can find it on the YouTube channel called, strangely, The Far Turn. I also put it out on social media. My handles is B. Abrams Voice. But you can subscribe to the Far Turn. So every commentary is only a minute. So I'm only asking a minute as you're getting ready, as you're brushing your teeth in the morning.
There you go.
You know, nothing wrong with just flipping on the Far Turn, seeing what we got.
All right, so we've talked about a little bit of the favorites here. Give me some of these horses that you are looking at possibly, you know, sitting on that outside. You got a White Abario at 10-1 who won at Gulfstream twice. recently. Just finished off the pace in Florida at the Florida Derby. And then you go down, you look at Classic Causeway, a Tawnyport, a Zozos, or Ethereal Road. I mean, Dwayne Lucas, another great trainer, and is an alternate, but has had issues running. So I guess we can maybe count out him. But who's a dark horse here?
Well, Ethereal Road has run on a wet track twice and finished up the track twice. As much as I love the coach, Dwayne Lucas was a high school basketball coach back in the day. I'm not going near him. White Mario is interesting. Safi Joseph, his trainer's been on a hot streak, and Tyler Gaffleone, the rider, has been also. And the outside posts, 15 and out, have been pretty good recently in the Kentucky Derby. So I take a look at him. Another one I'm taking a look at has a much bigger price, believe it or not, and that is the number 7 Crown Pride, the Japanese horse. In case you haven't been following this, the Japanese have been monsters the last 5 months or so. They won 2 races on Breeders' Cup Day. They'd never won one before. Then on a big day in February at, of all places, Saudi Arabia, they won 4 races that night. And on Dubai World Cup night at the end of March, they won 5 races, including Crown Pride winning the UAE Derby. So they are very much on a hot streak. And as soon as that race ended, Crown Pride shipped here to Kentucky. So he's been here for better part of 6 weeks, settled, comfy, happy, just had a nice workout on Tuesday. He's been turning people's heads down at Churchill Downs, from what I understand. And now his only loss in 4 starts, again, we don't know really the competition he faced, but his only loss in 4 starts was on a wet track. Could it be coincidence? You never know. If it was a dry track, I'd pick him in a second. Wet track, I'm a little bit more hesitant, but I certainly would give him a look.
Well, and what's interesting, too, you bring up the Japanese, is they've had, a couple of Derby winners over the last 6 years. So this would be a good chance for possibly a Crown Pride to sneak in and be that 3rd Derby winner.
And this would be the first time that a horse trained in Japan would win such a race. Having said that, his grandfather is Sunday Silence, who won the 1989 Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Breeders' Cup Classic, the Preakness being one of the 2 or 3 greatest races ever run. But American breeders didn't want any part of Sunday Silence, because he didn't come from very good breeding. So the Japanese said, we'll take him. And basically, he has been the father of almost all Japanese racing. Like every horse in Japan can trace his or her lineage back some way to Sunday Silence.
Wow.
So, all of these horses that are winning around the world right now are descendants in some way, either through their fathers or mothers, of Sunday Silence. And so there is definitely that American influence there, and I would absolutely give him a look here, Crown Pride.
One horse I've been looking at is Ken McPeak, the trainer, Brian Hernandez Jr., but running from that 9-post, Tiz the Bomb at 30-1. And I only say that because Tiz the Bomb reminds me of Pete Alonso, a great New York Met home run hitter who just hit his 5th the other day. But at 30-1, is that the long shot possibly to look at?
Well, the thing with Tiz the Bomb, and I love the reference, Tiz the Bomb's main win came on a track made of man-made dirt, synthetic, in Kentucky, the race at Turfway Park. So what he will do on a regular dirt track, not a man-made dirt track, is a little suspect. He could run big, but, I understand, that Churchill Downs owns Turfway Park, so they want to make Turfway's big race a Kentucky Derby qualifier, but it's a trick surface, and so you just don't know how that horse is going to translate to conventional dirt. I have my doubts, but he certainly has the class to do it.
Barry Abrams, give me your win place show for Saturday Kentucky Derby.
I right now have to think that Messier is going to win this race, which pains me to say as an Islanders fan, both from his days with the Oilers and, of course, his days playing in Manhattan for the team we will not name. But Messier, to me, seems like the winner here. I think behind him is going to be his stablemate, Taiba. Crown Pride, I think, is going to be somewhere, but I'm not quite sure. And I also would throw in White Barrio, and if you want another long shot, he's been good in Florida. I don't know if it translates up here for a win, but Simplification, I think, is one I'd also take a look at.
Okay. For entertainment purposes only, obviously, right?
Of course.
As always. Hey, Barry, it's always great to catch up with you. Our Mets are in good position right now. I like it, despite the big loss yesterday to the Braves, but going, 7-0-1 in your first 8 series, sitting there with the most wins in Major League Baseball right now, tied with that other team in New York.
It's amazing what happens when you decide to break the shift, not by trying to legislate it away, but by bunting down the third base line.
Right? Yeah. It is amazing. And when you have a manager in the dugout who people trust, that helps too.
That's what he's implementing. Stealing bases, bunting down the third base line with a power hitter.
Small ball.
All these things that seemingly had gone out of fashion.
Yes. Thank you for going back to small ball. As a couple of small guys ourselves, that's what we thrive on.
Well, I'm a couple of pounds lighter than I was last year.
Yeah, well, I think I am too. I think I'm down about 9 pounds, so that's good. But you're going to go, I'm going to let you go get those couple pounds back because you got to go eat with your lovely family. But let's catch up in a few weeks, shall we?
I am right here, Jason, anytime.
That is Barry Abrams joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Love chatting the racing of the horses with Barry. He is absolutely fantastic. All right, let's do On This Day in History. It is May the 5th. It is National Day of Prayer, Day of Reason, World Password Day, National Astronaut Day. Alan Shepard, the first American in space on this date, I think in 60-some. Cartoonist Day is National Hoagie Day as well. 1904, Cy Young pitched the first perfect game in modern baseball as Boston Americans beat the Philadelphia A's. 1908, some Kentucky Derby winners. 1908, 34th, 66-1 odds, but Stone Street wins in muddy tracks. And 2:15:20, the slowest Derby in history. Secretariat owns the fastest, of course. 1917, on this date, St. Louis Browns pitcher Ernie Koob with a no-hitter over the White Sox. 1922, construction begins on Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built, the original. 1934, 60th Kentucky Derby, Cavalcade would win. 1951, Count Turf would win the 77th Kentucky Derby. 1956, Needles wins the 82nd. Decidedly won in 1962 in the 88th Derby. In 1973, on this date, Kentucky Derby, the 99th running of the Run for the Roses, Ronnie Turcotte aboard Secretariat wins in 1:59.4, the fastest Derby ever. 1979, 105th Kentucky Derby, spectacular bid. 1984, Swale would win the 110th running. 1990, the 116th, Unbridled. 2001, the 127th Derby, Monarchos. 2007, 133rd Derby, Street Sense. Have Another would win on this date in 2012. And then 4 years ago, the 144th Derby, Mike Smith won his second aboard Justify. On this date last year, Baltimore Orioles pitcher John Means with a no-hitter over Seattle. It is also Cinco de Mayo Day today. Now, if you don't know the history of Cinco de Mayo, I'm going to give it to you. Back in 1912, Hellmann's mayonnaise was manufactured in England. In fact, Titanic had 12,000 jars scheduled for delivery in Mexico, which was to be the next port after New York. Now, that would have been, at the time, the largest single shipment of mayonnaise ever delivered to Mexico. We know what happened, though. The ship hit the iceberg, the Titanic, the unsinkable, it sank. The people of Mexico, who were crazy about mayonnaise, were awaiting its delivery, upset. Their anguish was so great, they created a national day of mourning. That National Day of Mourning each year occurs on May the 5th. It is known as Cinco De Mayo. There you go. I don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. It is I don't. So there you go. I've been holding on to that for a few weeks. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
The walk-off is presented by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. And speaking of coleslaw, I'm not a big fan of coleslaw. Never have been. I love it. It looks good. I love making it. But I never really enjoyed it until I had a po' boy at Cafe Zydeco. And they put it right on there. The first time I had the barbecue beef po' boy, I tried it on the side. But I got to put it on there now. And it is absolutely fantastic. I don't know what Cafe Zydeco does with their coleslaw and their po' boys, but it is the best. Absolutely love Cafe Zydeco. It's got to be on the menu. It is National Hoagie Day today, but I think we can celebrate with a po' boy, can't we? You got Cafe Zydeco in Helena, Bozeman, and Billings. Make sure you stop in. All right, so I don't know if you saw this on Sunday, but Lydia Ko, the great LPGA golfer, kind of stunned a reporter with just watch.
You asked for Chris Wicker to come out and give you a little physical therapy as well. Is that a concern moving forward?
I hope not. It's that time of the month. I know the ladies watching are probably like, yeah, I got you. So when that happens, my back gets really tight and I'm all twisted, and it's not the first time that Chris has seen me twisted, but it felt a lot better after he came. So yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
I know you're lost for words, Jerry.
That was fantastic. Lydia Ko, so funny. And true. And you often wonder how ladies of golf or other sports, deal. And as guys, we don't understand this. But she was brutally honest. And it's about time, right? So there you go. You need someone like in a tennis and a basketball game, something, a lady to step forward. But Lydia Ko, just listen again.
You asked for Chris Wicker to come out and give you a little physical therapy as well. Is that a concern moving forward?
I hope not. It's that time of the month. I know the ladies watching are probably like, yeah, I got you. So when that happens, my back gets really tight and I'm all twisted, and it's not the first time that Chris has seen me twisted, but it felt a lot better after he came. So yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
I know you're lost for words, Jerry.
It's brutally honest. I love it. Thank you, Lydia. That's what she said. There you go. All right. Hey, great week. Thanks for joining us in the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Brian Swenson, Brian Schulte, Jeff Choate, Hunter Sparks, Nicole Reeby, Mike Miller, Barry Abrams, Clinton Lang back where he belongs. Parents can suck on a lollipop, according to Jeff Welsh, which is great. We'll do it again next week. Monday, your Auto Concepts Performance of the Week coming up, and a whole lot more. If you missed anything from this week, want to rewatch anything, go to jasonwalkershow.com. We'll see you back here on a Monday. Have yourself a great, great weekend. And thank you for making the Jason Walker Show one of the most listened to podcasts over the last few weeks. We appreciate it. See you Monday.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.